Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're checking out 5 ways British and American grocery stores are very different.
So next time you're in the other country, why not play a game of, oh look, it's that thing we have back home, but they call it something wildly different. Isn't this fun?
That's what I'm here to watch. That's what we're doing here, right?
Hello, I'm...
Y'all be sure to go to Lost on the Pod and like and subscribe. Also, I have another reaction channel called JJLA Reacts Music where I react to music. Go there and subscribe and like every video and love me.
Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to grocery stores.
Who's writing these memos?
Or should I say, supermarkets, because that's what we call them in the UK. Weirdly, I've been doing this channel now for about nearly 5 years, and I don't think I've really ever touched on the major differences between grocery stores and supermarkets. That is probably because the nauseating experience of walking around said stores is second only to malls. I'll be honest with you, we get our shopping delivered. Haven't had to walk into a grocery store in about 3 years. But I did do some research, so it's fine. And so without further ado, let's take a look at 5 big ways that British and American grocery stores / supermarkets are so very, very different.
Y'all, I didn't know they were called supermarkets in Britain. I've heard the term supermarket, the supermarket, but I go to a grocery store to get a grocery. But I'm going to Trader Joe's to do a little grocery shopping later today, so I thought I'd watch this video. Show me what I'm missing. Show me what I'm missing out on. Layout.
Yes, layout. As you can probably imagine, the layout of American grocery stores tends to be slightly different to that of Britain, but that makes sense. I mean, the United States itself is laid out quite differently to Britain. I don't just mean it's a different shape.
That doesn't make sense.
I mean, it incorporates different shapes. I did a video on this. Basically, America is obsessed with rectangles. Anyway, that's not connected to today's video. I think this difference might have changed a little bit in recent...
I'm looking at 3 rectangles right now. A lamp, a poster, and a guitar amp. The cameras, the rectangles are everywhere. My computer's a rectangle. Are we obsessed with rectangles? Conspiracy.
Anyway, that's not connected to today's video. I think this difference might have changed a little bit in recent years. For instance, it's a common practice in both countries now to put the fresh veg right near the entrance section to give this illusion of health as you walk in, and then you walk over to the chocolate and everything falls apart. But other than that, as you're walking around the stores in both countries, you will see the odd difference, sometimes very odd difference. So, for instance, in some British grocery stores / supermarkets, you might find the eggs not in the dairy section. What's that all about? And since I've moved to America, that seems to make sense, right? It's with the cheese, it's with the milk, the whipped cream. And so
it doesn't really make sense. It should be with the meat, right? It's a protein, it's meat, but it's also an animal product. That's not the actual animal, but it turns into an animal. I never really thought about this. Why are the eggs with the cheese? What the fuck?
And sort of genre-wise, that does make sense, but sometimes you will
Kinda
find
doesn't,
things
though.
like eggs just, hanging around with the beans in England, and not refrigerated either. That's a shocking
Hanging around
thing
with
for
the
a lot of
beans.
Americans when they see
right.
that. The wine...
I have heard that. The reason we refrigerate our eggs is because we pasteurize the outside when we clean them. And that cleans off some kind of film that's on the outside that keeps bacteria out. Because eggshells are porous. Something like that. And so we have to refrigerate them. But really you don't, right? Really you don't.
And not refrigerated either. That's a shocking thing for a lot of Americans when they see that. The wine section might be found in a different spot to where you'd find it in US grocery stores. Across both countries, though, it's always going to differ, especially depending on the actual store
Where's
itself.
the wine?
So keep an eye out for that. And
Okay.
kind of connected to layout is our next entry. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, size is not everything, though you probably wouldn't believe that if you saw the difference between UK supermarkets and American grocery stores. I used to think as a kid that whenever my mum would drag me around Asda, which is one of our major supermarkets, that particular supermarket was absolutely huge. And then I moved to America, and I was equally dragged around Walmart. And in recent years, the comparison between the two has become quite apt, and that is because Walmart owns Asda. But the fact remains that Asda, most of them anyway, are not located within their own zip code, postcode. Whereas Walmart, it might as well have its own zip code. They're absolutely huge. They're so large, in fact, that just walking around the perimeter is enough for your weekly exercise. Which I suppose is good considering all of the calories that you're about to buy. And because Walmart, and to a lesser extent Kroger, are absolutely massive, that means you have the following.
When I was in high school and everything closed at night, me and my friends would go to Walmart and walk around because it was open 24 hours and there's so much stuff to do, and it's so huge, and there's no one really working there. You can cause a lot of trouble, but don't do that, kids. Variety.
In the United Kingdom, nationwide, you've got the likes of Sainsbury's, Tesco, Morrison's, Asda. So we have choice in that regard, but once you get inside the stores, we probably don't have quite as much to offer as the United States, who, for instance, provide you with about 27 varieties of Coca-Cola. I haven't tried them all. In fact, I've barely tried any of them, but the rule seems to be that the brighter the packaging, the more varieties there'll be, and also the brighter the packaging, the least healthy it'll be. So to reiterate, American aisles have more variety than British aisles. That was a joke. Wordplay. British Isles. You got it.
I got it.
Walmart has such variety. You can even buy auto parts. They're usually at the back of the store, which is not the best place between you and me, because what if you're buying a big hefty tire? How are you going to get that out? You could roll it. That's true. In fact, that sounds amazing. I might do that next time I'm in Walmart. I've just remembered I'm never going back in a Walmart, so we're good. And I don't drive.
You don't need to.
And speaking of purchases, once you get to the till/cash register.
Sometimes I think there's too much variety. That's something I like about Trader Joe's. If you're looking for a can of tomatoes, there's the Trader Joe's can of tomatoes. That's all there is to choose from. I like that. Makes it easier. There's too much variety sometimes, you know? Keep it simple.
There's another chief difference between our two countries. I have to admit, this one got me long before I moved to the United States when I was visiting the state of Maine in 2004. I walked into a music shop, as you do. I much prefer music shops to supermarkets anyway. And I purchased a ukulele. I think I talked about this very recently. And in doing so, of course, I looked at the price. $15, which is cheap. Frankly. Don't ever do that again. It was good while it lasted, but it didn't last very long. So I took it to the counter expecting to pay exactly that in $3 $5 bills, only to be told, you know, $17.32. I mean, I'm making that number up in hindsight. I didn't really get where that additional $2 came from. And it turns out that sales tax is applied at the point of sale, whereas in the United Kingdom, what you see on the price tag in the aisle itself is exactly what you'll pay for that item, so there's no surprises when you get to the till. I should say that, you know, I think in England, even when I'd go grocery shopping, I didn't calculate in my head each item as I went along, so I never really had a great idea about what that total was going to be anyway. It's usually when you're just purchasing single items this problem first arises. But anybody that's visiting America from the UK who usually doesn't give a second thought to VAT, you will have to give thought to sales tax, which is kind of the equivalent here of VAT. And like I said, that sales tax is not applied to the whole store before you even go in. You'll see it applied to your receipt after the fact. It's not a huge deal. I got used to it, you know, after a couple of years. One thing I'm still getting used to, though, is our final entry.
I don't even think about the sales tax. It is kind of illogical. Why not just have the sales tax included on price tag? I don't even think about it. Unless I'm buying something really expensive and it's tens of dollars. Then I'm like, blah, the government. Blah. You know?
One thing I'm still getting used to, though, is our final entry. Yes, brand differences, and I'm not talking about, you know, this particular brand that you simply can't get an equivalent of in the UK. No, I'm talking about the exact same object, or typically food item, that has the same font and everything and look about
Lay's and Walkers, right?
Completely different name. Take, for instance, Axe versus Lynx. They're deodorants. Don't eat them. I'm not suggesting these are all food items, but if you are a 14-year-old boy, you know what Axe deodorant is. Or Lynx. They are exactly the same thing. They both have an X in it, much like an inordinate amount of brand differences, actually.
I went through an Axe phase, lasted about a week. Maybe half the bottle of Axe. And then I caught a whiff of myself, just offhand. I thought, no. Why? No.
You've got TJ Maxx versus TK Maxx. You've got ExxonMobil versus Esso. You've got Dove versus Galaxy.
What?
Alexa, what are they going to change your name to? I don't have Alexa. That was just a
Galaxy.
But if you're from the US and you go over to the UK and you're walking around the shopping aisles and you're looking out for crisps/potato chips and you see one that looks a little bit like Lay's, you know, Lay's, the American crisp company.
Right.
It'll be called Walker's, but it has the exact same font.
Weird.
Everything else about it
Why?
is the same, except for some of the flavors. Bear that in mind. And some of the chocolate seems to live in an entirely different universe. Literally, in some cases, like I said before, the British Galaxy bar is Dove in America, Milky Way is Three Musketeers, and Mars
No. What?
is Dove in America.
Milky Way. We have Milky Way. It's something different than Three Musketeers. We have Milky Way.
Milky Way is Three Musketeers, and Mars is Milky Way. It's
Oh,
all one
right. Okay, yeah. Okay, he addressed exactly what I was thinking. Okay, yeah.
Milky Way is Three Musketeers.
Right.
And Mars is Milky Way. It's
Weird.
all one star cluster of monumental differences. And of course, there are absolutely loads. So next time you're in the other country, why not play a game of, oh, look, it's that thing we have back home, but they call it something wildly different. Isn't this fun? You know, you might get bored after a while. But send...
It is fun. It makes me think about marketing and branding and language. It's fun.
That's it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below some of the observations you've made over the differences between a British supermarket and an American grocery store. In the meantime, if you haven't had the chance to do so, please subscribe to my channel so that my videos don't get lost in the pond. And a big shout out to all my patrons, without who none of this would be possible, from the writing to the research to the exercise in Walmart. If you would like to become a patron of Lost in the Pond, you can do so at patreon.com/lostinthepond. And of course, anybody that does so will get access to my secret weekly live stream, and anybody that pledges $5 or more a month will get access to not only that, but my secret podcast and more. Until next time, happy shopping.
How do you have the time? Y'all, if you would like to become a patron of this channel, go to patreon.com/JJLAReacts. And also check out my music reaction channel called JJLA Reacts Music. I hate doing promotion stuff. Feels gross, but it's the American way. Also, these mugs are available for purchase. There's a link somewhere. Grocery store differences. Supermarkets. I'm curious if I could find an answer as to why Lay's are called Walkers. Why are Lay's called... Oh, look at that. It came right up. The truth is only one reason Lay's names still exist is marketing reasons. Others said the reason for Walkers maintaining its name was simple. One said Frito-Lay bought Walkers, a separate company at the time, in 1989. Because Walkers had 41 years of brand name recognition, it was kept as the name. That's why. Marketing. Okay. Walkers existed before, and Lay's bought Walkers. Just use the brand name. Makes sense. I thought maybe there was a focus group of a bunch of British people, and the focus group said, what do you think of this Lay's potato chip? Or would you rather have a potato chip called Walkers? And all the British people were like, I don't like Lay's. I don't like how I can say Lay's. I like Walkers. Walkers fits on the mouth better than Lay's. Walkers, of course. Lay's. I've got to swallow it to say it. Lay's. Walkers. It's much easier. But with an American accent, Walkers. It's like a mouthful. Walkers. Lay's. It's just easier to say. Lay's. Walkers. Lay's. Walkers, Lay's. I thought that was the reason, but I was wrong. Company mergers and acquisitions. That's why. American stuff. Business. Capitalism. My eyesight is sharper when I cross them like this. When I uncross them, it's more blurry. Should I cross my eyes from now on forever? Anyway, thank y'all for watching this with me. Check out my other channel. Thanks to my patrons. Thanks to my Buy Me a Coffee folks. Thank y'all for watching this with me, and I'll see you next time. Later.